What's up, White's Army? Welcome back to the channel that bleeds white. My fellow Leeds soldiers, grab your seats because what I'm about to tell you will make your blood boil and your heart race at the same time. The Elland Road faithful deserves to know the truth about what's happening behind closed doors at our beloved club. Listen up, because three massive stories have exploded in the last 24 hours that will change everything you thought you knew about. This transfer window, we're talking about a manager who's publicly begging for help, a winger who almost came home but chose Spain instead, and a deal that was so close you could taste the Welsh magic, only to have it ripped away at the last second. I'm telling you right now, White's Army, this isn't just another transfer window gone wrong. This is about survival in the Premier League, about promises broken, and about a fan base that deserves so much better than what the 49ers are giving us. But before we dive into this madness, smash that like button if you're as frustrated as I am. Hit subscribe because we're the only channel telling you the raw truth about Leeds United, and comment below. I want to hear your thoughts on what I'm about to reveal. The first bombshell involves our manager going public with his desperation. And trust me, when you hear what Daniel Farke actually said, you'll understand why Elland Road is about to explode. Daniel Farke. Yes, our own manager has done something that will go down in Leeds United history. This man literally went public and begged the 49ers for attacking reinforcements. Can you believe it, White's Army? Our manager on live television basically saying, please give me players. And here's the kicker that'll make you lose your mind. We have a squad worth $257 million and we're ranked 18th in the Premier League. 18th? Do you know what that means? Only Sunderland and Burnley have cheaper squads than us. Meanwhile, Arsenal is sitting pretty with a $1.2 billion squad. The 49ers spent $988.6 million this summer, sold players for just $6.9 million, giving us a net spend of $91.7 million. Sounds impressive, right? Wrong! Because when Robbie Evans came out and said we've maxed out our PSR, it all made sense why Farke was literally begging on live television. Picture this scene. White's Army, your manager, the man who got us promoted with 100 points, standing in front of cameras after a 0-0 draw with Newcastle, basically admitting the board has left him high and dry. This is the same Daniel Farke who delivered us the championship title, and now he's having to beg for the tools to keep us in the Premier League. But here's where it gets juicy. Adam Underwood, our new sporting director, huffed and puffed according to sources, but delivered absolutely nothing on deadline day. The fans are pointing fingers everywhere. Some blame Underwood, others are going straight for Parag Maratha's throat. And you want to know the most insulting part? While Farke is begging for attackers, the only confirmed transfer news we got was Darko Gyabi leaving for Hull City. We lost a player instead of gaining the reinforcements our manager desperately needed. This isn't just poor planning, White's Army. This is a systematic failure that could cost us our Premier League status. But wait until you hear about the winger who was this close to coming home. Remember Manor Solomon, the promotion hero who helped get us back to the Premier League? Well, White's Army, prepare to have your hearts broken because this man was literally hours away from multiple Premier League moves, including a potential return to Elland Road. Manor woke up on deadline day as a Tottenham player, but by the end of those crazy 24 hours, he was speaking Spanish in Villarreal. And here's the part that'll make you sick. Leeds were actually considering bringing him back home. Solomon himself described it as the craziest 24 hours I've had in football. This man left London at 6 a.m. thinking he was staying at Tottenham, and by the time his plane landed, chaos had begun. Leicester wanted him for the championship. Crystal Palace opened talks for a loan deal, and our beloved Leeds were in the background contemplating a reunion. But here's where it gets emotional, White's Army. Solomon kept saying his goal was to stay in England. This man wanted to remain in the Premier League, probably dreaming of that Elland Road atmosphere again. But instead of coming home to us, he ended up in Spain. The cruel irony? Solomon's first Champions League game with Villarreal is against Tottenham, the same club that basically forced him out. You can't make this stuff up. And why didn't Leeds pull the trigger? because we were chasing bigger fish, because the 49ers thought they had better options, because somehow a promotion hero wasn't good enough for our improved squad. This decision might haunt us when we're struggling for creativity in crucial Premier League matches. The saddest part? Solomon was available, he wanted to stay in England, and he had that emotional connection to Leeds United. Instead, he's now playing Champions League football in Spain while we're left wondering what if. But White's Army of Manor Solomon's story broke your heart. Wait until you hear about the Welsh wizard who was literally on a plane to Leeds before everything fell apart. This is it, White's Army, the climax of our deadline day disaster. The story of Harry Wilson and how the 49ers managed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory in the most heartbreaking way possible. Picture this scene: Harry Wilson, the Welsh international, was literally at Wales training camp when Leeds came calling. A flight was scheduled from Cardiff to Leeds at 4:25 p.m. This man was ready to come to Elland Road, ready to give us that creative spark Daniel Farke was begging for on live television. But here's where the incompetence reaches levels that would make you laugh if it wasn't so tragic. That flight got delayed, then pushed back, and finally cancelled. Harry Wilson never made it to Yorkshire White's Army. Robbie Evans came out and said, "We thought we had the right price. We put the offer in above that price. The player was on board, above the asking price. Wilson wanted to come. Everything was set up for success. The deal sheet was prepared, Leeds signed their portion, but here's the crushing blow. Fulham never signed theirs. They left us hanging at the 7 p.m. deadline like we were some championship club, begging for scraps, and the conflicting stories. Make it even worse. Leeds sources say Fulham encouraged them about the deal sheet, while Fulham sources claim they told Leeds mid-afternoon that Wilson was no longer for sale. Someone is lying, White's Army, and it's probably the team that signed $85 million worth of wingers on the same day. The most insulting part? While we're scrapping for Harry Wilson, Fulham is casually dropping $85 million on Kevin and Samuel Chukwueze like it's pocket change. They treated us like we were some small club not worthy of their time. Daniel Farke is now publicly disagreeing with Robbie Evans about whether this failure will cost us survival. Farke says we need as many as 2 more attacking players to avoid relegation, while Evans claims one thing won't be the deciding factor. Our own manager and managing director can't agree on what we need to survive. The betrayal runs deeper when you realize that sources believed Leeds had met Fulham's asking price, yet somehow we still couldn't get it done. This wasn't about money, this was about competence, and our leadership showed they have none when it matters most. Wilson was ready to leave Wales duty, ready to wear white, ready to give everything for Leeds United, and we let bureaucratic nonsense destroy what could have been our season-saving signing. The brutal truth. White's Army. So here we are, White's Army, back in the Premier League with a squad worth less than most established teams, a manager publicly begging for help, a promotion hero playing Champions League football in Spain, instead of at Elland Road, and a Welsh wizard who was literally hours away from wearing white before administrative incompetence destroyed everything. This isn't just about missing out on players. This is about a culture of mediocrity that's the 49ers. Our decision that the 49ers have brought to our club. We have fans who've waited years to get back to the Premier League, only to watch our leadership fumble every crucial decision. But you know what, White's Army? Leeds United has survived worse than American ownership and transfer window disasters. We've got Daniel Farke, we've got Elland Road, and most importantly, we've got each other. Smash that like button if you're as frustrated as every other Leeds fan right now. Hit subscribe because we'll be covering every twist and turn of this Premier League campaign, and drop a comment below. Do you think the 49ers have failed, Daniel? Farke and the fans? Because if there's one thing I know about the White's Army, it's this. We'll be there through the good times and the bad, singing our hearts out at Elland Road, hoping these American owners finally understand what it means to be Leeds United, marching on together